What's up, guys? So, we've had this massive change to the Colossus. I'm not quite sure what the general feeling about Colossus is, but personally, I'm not a huge fan of the high difficulty level mixed with the high energy cost, mixed with the high astrogen cost. Also, I've heard that, I think I saw maybe somewhere, maybe it was a Reddit post, that it's going to take, 4 years or something, 2 years to actually make enough stones for the Dark Siegfried. I don't know. But all those things combined, to me, make this update a little bit of a bust. But that's my personal opinion. I do think, at a minimum, maybe they need to change. Hopefully they can change the Siegfried drops. Also, I think it would be a good idea for them to dedicate a weekend to a free day in Colossus. It's just too expensive, and people need to be able to try out different teams. So if you agree with that, then I definitely message 433 on Facebook and tell them we need a free day in Colossus, kind of like we get a free Tower of Chaos day, because you got to be able to try out your different teams. You're already limited by the number of times you can go per week by not spending Astro Gems. The least they can do is let us once a month let us go into try out different teams in Colossus. So definitely message them on Facebook if you agree with that, guys. The other thing, so I was able to beat fire. The only other one I think I've tried is water. And from what I think what I saw is that a lot of these Colossuses or Colossi are grown-up versions of their Golem counterparts, maybe. And I can kind of see that with the fire one. The fire one is definitely a damage based boss, and since he's damage based, he's not overly tanky, which is probably why I had a better time with beating him. But when you have a lot of it's pure damage, then it's easier to control, because you can kind of beat him with damage, whereas some of the other Colossi are, I'm assuming, I've only done one other one, are very tanky, and you can't really rely on pure DPS. So yeah, guys, so with this, this is my fire team, and the basis of this really is to have your first team being very tanky, and your second team being basically like a kamikaze team. So you'll see I have a defense lead for my kamikaze team, but that's fine. It works out. And guys, you don't have to have the exact monsters I have. That's one of the reasons why I think we need a free day to try out different teams, because with this, it's just a general strategy. I'm going to tell you guys the general strategy of how I beat this guy, but you'll have to figure out how what fits for your team, because some of these monsters, like the Sparket, you have to wait for them to roll him out again, and you might want to prioritize a different Sparket to this one. Who knows? But I think the Sparket works really nice on this Colossus because he's damage based, he's got a crit up, and with the Sparket you can kind of get his crit rate down a little bit. Whether that helps or not, who knows? With blind, it's blind. But he does pretty good damage. I don't think you really have to have the Nat5s. The reason I use the Arthur is because I have a variant one, and he's got a good leader skill. Also, since this is a damage based Titan, I want to get his attack lowering skill set, and also he'll lower the damage, so that way he'll lower the damage. And then you also have the Sparket, who will also lower damage a little bit, with the blind. It's blind. And yeah, guys, so the other Nat5 is purely for damage. Water Valk is one of the best water attackers that we have. But if you have something else and you don't have Water Valk, then just use whatever really powerful DPS you have. You might be able to get away with maybe something like a Fire Indra, if you know, if it's really low. And he can if he survives 1 or 2 attacks. He might not if he's too squishy. You just try out, you know, whatever water DPS you have. Maybe the Mona can survive and do enough damage. Who knows? But yeah, the other thing is, so you know, this first team really is to absorb attack. The basis of this strategy is you want to have the Fire Colossus use up both of his AoE on your tanky team, so you want them to absorb his AoE attacks. Now he has AoE, he gets AoE like all bosses when he's at or below half health. And then he also gets a powerful AoE when his blue skill bar is full. So you want your first team to survive all of that. You also want to take down the shield as often as possible. So that's one of the reasons why the water Katyn is so important. Water Katyn is, I'm not sure if there's anything on par with the water Katyn in this particular dungeon. It has everything, every skill that you need. So it's got a def up, heal, and she's got a shield break. So if for some reason you put off making a water Katyn, then no point in putting it off anymore. You gotta have it, guys. And yeah, so after your first team absorbs the 2 AoE attacks, and you want to make sure your kamikaze team, which is the second team, when you bring that team in, you want to manual it, so you gotta switch it out manually. You want to make sure the shield is down, so that's important as well. So 3 things on your first team that your first team has to be able to do here. That is survive the 2 AoEs and bring the shield down, and there can't be a shield prepped by the minion when you're bringing in your kamikaze team, so that the minion skill bar can't be full to heal and shield the Colossus when you bring your kamikaze team, because that's your last line, and you're going in full damage. So yeah, then you just want to try and def break the Colossus and do as much damage as possible until it's dead. Hopefully you can do it in 1 or 2 turns, and your kamikaze team can survive 1 or 2 turns, or 3 if necessary. But yeah, guys, that's the basis of Fire Colossus strategy, or the way I've done it. I'm sure other people have other ways of beating this guy. I think it's probably one of the easier ones, but I have to try the other ones first to really make that statement. But yeah, guys, so if you liked the video, if you got something out of it, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed, and I will see you next time.